Thank you, Councilwoman, and I'm happy to be here. It's been a delight to work with this young woman these past months and the others. While I know her to be a warm and engaging individual, I'm sure if I had the opportunity to work in the same way with every other member of the city government, I would have found it the same. Lots of expectation, obviously, about an issue that's very important to you as citizens and parents of Fairhope. I'm delivering a report tonight on financial feasibility. It's not a recommendation for what you should or should not do, and I need to stress that in quite a few ways. The report that has been presented totals 163 pages. It is being made available in electronic format, and it has to be complex, it has to be broad, because it's written in the anticipation that there might be a City Board of Education. If there is a City Board of Education, what do they need to know about relevant aspects of Alabama law? What does their legal counsel need to know? What questions should properly be raised? So it's not short, it is not succinct, yet in the very end there is a very simple set of summaries. And let me set a couple of things before you to keep in mind. The City Council in Alabama since 1901 has had the authority to create an independent city school system. No one else can do it. The responsibility is there. If they make the decision to create a city school system, they appoint the Board of Education, unless you were to do it and get a special act of the legislature to change how you are treated uniquely, and it has been done. The City Council subsequently does not administer the schools. They are at arm's length. They make original appointments to the board. They will make appointments on staggered terms as the board members rotate off or reappoint them. By the same token, the voters can elect or re-elect the City Council. So in this somewhat indirect scheme, you have direct responsibility to the voters of the City of Fairhope. If a board is formed, and this can be done by City Council resolution and the members appointed, the board has the authority to receive appropriations and bequests. Because we're talking about now a process where a board would have probably a 2-year window to act as a board, to go through deliberations and actually conclude a financial separation. The board at this point would have the authority to hire personnel, to attend meetings of the State Department of Education, the Alabama Association of School Boards, and the School Superintendents of Alabama. The board would have no authority to administer schools at this point. The board would have no authority to receive school revenues, and the board would have no authority to initiate a school tax referendum. Only after final separation does the fiscally responsible element come into play, as well as the administrative component. Once separation is achieved, now think back with me, we're talking about a 2-year process, and we're talking about a semi-autonomous board that has been created. They can set any attendance policy they wish on any rational basis. Rational? Well, are children treated basically fair upon some standard? Number 2, they must, however, be able to demonstrate a sound budget, and submit plans for long-term management, for example, facilities, and many others, to the State Department of Education, and they'd have to have their budget approved. The action of one board cannot bind a future Board of Education to a similar action or policy. Things change, things can be changed. Generally, if there is a contractual agreement for personnel or debt, that is binding. But other than that, what a board may set out at some point to do, the future may mean something else should be done. The budget must be balanced. And legally, the board is responsible for the education of every resident student of the political boundaries of the city of Fairhope. I am here making no recommendation for or against a city school system. I'm here to review the statutory provisions. If you're unhappy with them, then you need to take it up with your elected lawmakers and say, this law is not what we think it should be. Let's look at something else. However, it is, to my best knowledge, a fair representation of 35 years of studying school finance and school law in Alabama and case law associated with it. So that's where we are. Again, quickly summarizing. If a board is created, they're not running the schools. That's 2 years away, give or take. If a board is created and does achieve final separation, then at that point, there will be a policy in place on who attends and who does not attend. But minimally, they must serve the residents of the city of Fairhope. So what I'm going to do is go through the report. I apologize that each one of you cannot have it handy in front of you, but they are keyed by pages, and this PowerPoint is also available in electronic format.